that he's warned me if I call him dad again, he's going to take away my pocket money. So, here he is. It's my radio granddad, Nick Abbot.
Dean, thank you for taking our call. We're a big fan and we need your help. You see, about 2 years ago, this country elected to buy a government that appears to be defective. A man came round to install it, and we should have known something was wrong with this product because the engineer looked like he slept in a skip and tried to get off with our wife. The thing is, it came with a guarantee, but that isn't worth the paper it's printed on. It's never worked as advertised, and the people that sold it to us aren't accepting responsibility and are claiming that we knew what we were buying when we ordered it. What can we do short of commencing legal proceedings? And if we did, do you know anyone who is as sharp a mind as Attorney General Suella Braverman QC? No legal experience necessary. That and more coming up with me, Nick Abbott, after the new news at 10 on LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
From Global's newsroom at 10 o'clock, former Chancellor Rishi Sunak has started his Conservative leadership bid by saying someone has to grip the moment. He's already got at least 5 of the 8 backers required, including former party chairman Oliver Dowden. MP and former Tory Chief Whip Mark Harper is another.
I think they want somebody with honesty and integrity, somebody who tells the truth, and somebody also is honest with them.
The race to become Prime Minister follows Boris Johnson's resignation, although he doesn't plan on standing down until a successor has been found. Tom Tugendhat is the other to publicly come forward. Durham Police won't be taking further action against the leader or deputy leader of the Labour Party over alleged COVID rule breaches last April. Both promised to resign if they'd been fined for drinking indoors, but officers considered it to be reasonably necessary work. Labour's ex-communications director is Ben Nunn.
He knew, and he would have known in his head and his heart, that he would be wrong for him to carry on as a leader if he had been fined and if he'd been found to have done wrongdoing by the police. It was a matter of principle for Keir.
The Queen says she's deeply saddened by the death of former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. He died in hospital after being shot twice while making a campaign speech. Police say a man who's admitted to the shooting had a handmade gun. Dr. Nancy Snow is a writer on Japanese affairs and says Mr. Abe was a figurehead for 21st century Japan.
I'm doing a paper now on Japan's strategic communications and public diplomacy in this century. And Shinzo Abe was the centerpiece and still is the centerpiece of the narrative thread in this paper. It's just that now I'm going to dedicate it to his memory.
The former UK head of counter-terrorism will take over at the Metropolitan Police. Sir Mark Rowley will replace Dame Cressida Dick as Commissioner following her resignation in February. Scotland Yard was put into special measures last month following a series of scandals. And temperatures in London have reached 28.5 degrees today. That made the capital hotter than LA or Santorini. In the city, the FTSE 100 has closed up 7 points at 71.96. The pound buys $1.20 and €1.18. The weather staying dry for the south and east tonight. Some drizzle lingering in northwestern areas, a low of 10. Dry and sunny for England, Wales and southeast Scotland tomorrow. Cloudier, but staying dry for northern Scotland and Northern Ireland with the odd shower in the far north and a predicted high of 24 degrees. From Global's newsroom, I'm Tim Humphrey.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Hello. You know, some whack job can say this stuff and get away with it?
Brits are in for a shock to the system because as of right now, a heatwave lasting for days is coming, bringing in temperatures in the mid-30s. Forecasters at the Met Office have predicted that temperatures could hit as high as 35 C by next week as a 600-mile Spanish plume heads further north. That's a Spanish plume, not a Spanish stroll, because that's Mink DeVille.
Rock and roll!
Mid-July is going to be hotter in this country than Antigua, wherever that is. The warm spell will see highs of 29 degrees centigrade shortly, with the mercury nudging 30 C by Sunday. Into early next week, temperatures are expected to climb even higher and reach a sweltering mid-30s as the week progresses on. All because of the air coming up from the Sahara, going all the way through Europe, so I am afraid that we will be breathing filthy, second-hand Spanish air that has been previously used by Europeans. Met Office forecaster Marco said forecast models suggest mid-30s temperature highs later in the week. He said all eyes are focused on a southerly airstream which could waft additional heat to our shores. Watch out for the wafting. A level 2 heat alert has been announced.
Warning, warning.
That means we're all going to die. There's never a moment's pleasure, is there? A level 2 heat alert has been issued covering southern areas and eastern areas and here, there and everywhere, baby.
Emergency, everybody to get from street. Emergency, everybody to get from street.
This means that there's a high chance for temperatures to rise significantly throughout 0900 hours on Monday the 11th of July and 0900 hours on Friday the 15th of July, in parts. And I sincerely hope that your parts are affected. Met Office's Deputy Chief Meteorologist Dave said we're at the start of a stretch of warm weather for much of England and Wales that could last for much of next week. In the short term, many can expect temperatures in the mid to high 20s over the weekend, and then in the low 30s during the start of next week, when we'll all be at work. It sounds like an excellent week for work from home. Just don't tell Smug. He'll be very upset.
I don't know anything.
I don't know. In the short term, many can expect temperatures in the mid to high 20s over the weekend, then the low 30s at the start of next week. That's what I heard. Much of next week will remain warm for the time of year as well as dry and sunny. And the scorching temperatures are expected to last long enough for the Met Office to officially declare it a heat wave. Should the heat wave last 12 days in a row, it'll be the longest run for 4 years. About bloomin' time. Some solutions allow more extreme temperatures to develop into next weekend. What? That's what they said. Some solutions. They're trying to figure it out like Zaphod, what's it?
And 1.
Yes.
2.
3.
11.
No. Forecaster Leon, out of the Weather Channel, said 35 sea highs are expected this month, and even higher is possible. Well, now you multiply it by 9 and add 32 to get Fahrenheit from centigrade. So multiply by 9. 35 times 9 is 340. And 340 plus 32 is 392. Wow. It's going to be 392 degrees Fahrenheit next week. Can you believe that?
Yes.
Tonight, dry, long clear spells for most, cloudy, patchy rain for parts of the northwest. Oh, no. Ha. One moment while I check. Aha! Tonight, thick cloud, and this is Glasgow. Thick cloud and a gentle breeze, and then cloudy on Saturday, and then what? Sunny on Sunday in Glasgow. Pfft, rubbish. And then cloudy on Monday, and raining on Tuesday, and raining on Wednesday, and cloudy on Thursday, and cloudy on Friday, and cloudy on Saturday, and raining on Sunday, and cloudy on Monday, and cloudy and raining on Tuesday, and then cloudy on Wednesday, and cloudy on Thursday. So in the next 2 weeks, you'll see the sun once. Oh, well, never mind. Saturday, fine, dry, bright, plenty of warm sunshine for most, except you know where it'll be cloudy, patchy rain, northern and western parts of Scotland and Northern Ireland. Har, har, har. Outlook for Sunday to Tuesday. Fine, dry, very warm, plenty of sunshine for most regions, becoming hot across the central and southern areas. Cool, cloudier and cooler in the northwest with rain possible at times. I bet. Would you like to hear the long-range forecast now that it sounds like summer is here?
No.
Fine and dry conditions with plenty of sunshine for the next 2 weeks. This is the next 2 weeks until the 21st, so the middle 2 weeks of July. Fine and dry conditions, plenty of sunshine expected across southern parts of the UK and into the following weekend. It's going to be widely very warm, potentially hot. Meanwhile, the north is expected to become cloudier with a chance of rain, especially in the northwest, and blah, blah, blah. Then, further into July, still the middle 2 weeks of July, northern parts of the UK likely to remain rather unsettled, dry weather likely to continue, far south and southwest, that's where the dry weather will be. And then the last week of July and the first week of August. It's just slipping away time, ain't it? Almost Christmas. Then the last week of July, the first week of August, settled conditions across the country, though periods of cloud and rain are still likely in the northwest. Temperatures widely above average initially, returning closer to normal later in the period, but still likely to be warm to very warm at times. Temperatures widely above average initially, returning closer to normal later in the period, but still likely to be warm to very warm at times. We'll take it. Ian emails, do you think that Nadeem Zahawi, the new Chancellor, described by the Daily Mail as being the most Machiavellian man in politics, has the necessary arithmetic skills for his new position as the UK's Chief Financial Minister? I don't know. Well, let's do that test again.
And 1,
2,
2,
3,
6 million.
No, worse. He's our new Chancellor of the Exchequer. What could possibly go wrong? Jed text, was Johnson trolling you or Zahawi by making him Chancellor? Well, let's ask the man himself.
So obviously, but I know certainly, but. But obviously,
so that's clear. We're all in great danger. Stefan texts, in his leadership campaign video, ready for Rishi. Ready for Rishi?
No.
No, it's a no from us.
No.
No. In his leadership campaign video, Ready for Rishi, Sunak tells us he wants to fix the economy. The last guy in charge of it must have really done some damage. Yeah. Oh, there's so much to get through. I mean, where do I even start? My mind is all of a muddle just thinking about it. Chris says Fishy Rishi is on another planet. God, wouldn't that be good? Let's pop them all into a space rocket and blast them off on a one-way trip. Fishy Rishi is on another planet, says Chris. He held a green card to avoid paying tax, but his job was to collect taxes. His government banned UK businesses from dealing with the Russians, but his wife was still doing it. And the man tried to pay contactless by placing his card on a Perspex screen. Just what the country needs. Yeah, after filling somebody else's car. I mean, presumably, he's so rich that when his car runs out of fuel, he just throws it away. You know, like Steve Allen does. 0345 6060 973. Leave your Bentley at home, Steve. Save the planet. Come on, get with the programme. Have you used those skates that I bought you, with which you can commute? Rob says, forget Suella Braverman. Michael Fabricant should throw his... should throw his hat, or whatever that construct is on his head, into the Conservative Party leadership ring. I was looking at him perplexed because he was sitting on the benches next to, I can't remember, because you don't really pay attention to anybody that is sitting next to you. You're just too mesmerised by the thing on his head. And it's even worse from the back because he was sort of in profile. He was sitting, like twisted on his seat. And so you could see the back of his head, which is not a thing that I can recall seeing. And so the front is bad enough, but you should see the back. I mean, what is it? What is it? It can't be a wig. It can't be. No one would buy a wig that bad. No one. I mean, not even Stevie Wonder would buy a wig that bad. So it must be his hair. But how do you get your hair to look like that? And what's the name of his barber? Just so I don't go in there accidentally. Sue says, I went to Corfe Castle Primary School Sports Day today. So hot and no shade. It was so wonderful seeing the young children being so enthusiastic, competing for their teams. Lots of good old-fashioned races, running, sack race, egg and spoon, and to finish off, the tug of war. Right. Well, I could say, I have, for your convenience, edited about 3 jokes during the course of reading that, which I've taken out of this show because it was a primary school sports day. For which you should be very grateful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The tug of war, you say? Simon says, I'm very jealous of everyone saying how much they were out enjoying the beautiful hot weather today, as I spent the afternoon cleaning my attic with the wife. Cold, dirty and covered in cobwebs, but she's good to the kids. Stop with the jokes, people. I mean it. But she's good to the kids. So this is until we found out. This was the story this morning, and wow, it's really changing fast, ain't it? Anything could happen in the next 2 minutes. So this is what we heard this morning until they knew that we found out about it. Bodge wants to stay on as caretaker Tory leader to ensure the competent running of the country continues until a new leader is found to replace him. Of course not. I'm kidding. He wants to stay on because that way he can lounge around at Chequers and throw a massive party. That's what this guy's like. He gets the sack because he threw too many parties, and so he throws another party. Learnt any valuable lessons lately, Bodge? He's sticking around like a bad smell because he wanted to throw a big wedding party for himself and his current wife at Chequers later this month. Best to throw the wedding party before you get divorced. Make sure you get it that way round. The Prime Minister and his current wife, Carrie, have planned a lavish bash at the Grace and Favour country home to mark their marriage. Grace and Favour. As in free. Very expensive to those that can't afford it. Free to those that can. The couple tied the knot in a secret ceremony at Westminster Cathedral in front of just a handful of guests in May 2021. What's the appropriate religion's policy on getting married like 50 times? They then celebrated in the Downing Street garden for about 6 months, I think. But they were only allowed 30 guests because of COVID restrictions in place at the time. Yeah, because, he's all about obeying the rules.
I followed the ministerial guidance at all times. I followed the ministerial guidance at all times. I followed the ministerial guidance at all times. I followed the ministerial guidance at all times.
The couple's Chequers do, which was planned for July the 30th, was expected to be a much bigger, more glamorous affair. God, I wonder who was going to pay for that. 2 separate sources told the Mirror that Mr. and Mrs. Johnson were keen to go ahead with the party, to which they had invited many of their family and friends. That's what it says here. Chequers is a 16th century mansion with a heated indoor swimming pool, putting green and 1,500 acres of grounds, which you can't get anywhere near to, even though you pay for it. It was donated to the nation by Lord and Lady Lee of Fareham as a place of rest and recreation for prime ministers because some premiers did not even have their own country estates. Can you believe that? Built in 1565 and costing taxpayers £1 million a year. £1 million a year. To upkeep a house that already exists. Not to build one from scratch. That's just to heat and dust it. Well, Bodge has got an enormous number of knickknacks he's spread all over the place, which need to be dusted daily. By a daily. The Chequers Trust received a £916,000 grant in aid from the Cabinet Office last year, up from $882,000 the previous year and $879,000 the year before that. So it's about £1 million grant in aid from the Cabinet Office. In other words, you paid for it. Grant in aid. Are they kidding? The Grade 1 listed manor has walled gardens, a vast art collection and a half-kilometre driveway through a valley lined by beech trees. Wow. But allies of the PM dismissed the suggestion that he was going to have a party, saying he wanted to stay on as caretaker out of a sense of duty to guide the country until a new leader is found. Nice to see that through all this, the Tories haven't lost their sense of humour. Just doing your duty, Bodge.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
One Tory source told the Mirror, it beggars belief that even after all the criticism that Johnson has faced regarding integrity and probity, One of the reasons he's staying is to have his wedding party at Chequers. It's a national asset, not his personal home. He said the Johnsons should do the decent thing and find a different venue. And Bodge should do the decent thing and leave Number 10 immediately. Well, you know what? Half that happened. He did get a new venue. After we found out about his little scheme. And as for the doing the decent thing part, well, that ship sailed and sunk. But a spokesmodel for Mr. Johnson said the PM has a strong sense of duty and will continue to serve his country until a new leader is in place solely to continue his obligation to the public. Anybody believe that? I don't know. It's like a troll farm over there. They must wake up in the morning and think, what can we say to them today? A strong sense of duty. Oh, do me a favour. Bodge intends to remain in Number 10 until his successor is elected, or until after his successor is elected. He'll nail the door shut. There's not any agreement yet on when he actually has to leave Number 10. Just minutes before the PM delivered his statement, Number 10 sources claimed there were tensions between him and key aides over whether he would commit to a departure date. He didn't even agree to stand down. Not really. Speaking outside Downing Street, he said, I've agreed with Sir Graham Brady, the chairman of our backbench MPs, that the process of choosing that new leader should begin now. The timetable will be announced next week, and I've appointed a cabinet to serve as I will until a new leader is in place. So no actual mention of the word resign. No indication that he's responsible for his own downfall.
Abbot. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
What we got here is a failure to communicate.
Yes. People are saying, bye-bye. And he's not hearing us. Dan emails, now the human clown car is all but gone. Granted, it may end up taking a crowbar to get him out. What have you got lined up for content in the future? There's going to be a Bodger-sized hole. Yeah, well, you know, there was a Bodger-sized hole when you-know-who departed the scene.
I can be more presidential than anybody.
And I had to sort of park an entire page full of his sayings.
Touch, feel, that's what I do.
Yeah, that's what he does. And they're still there. They're waiting for him to come back. He'll be back any time now. Hey, Kanye.
Whoop-dee-dee-scoop-poop.
Precisely. Your husband doesn't have as much power as he used to, Melania.
I don't care.
She's not that bothered. Rose says the wealthy Prime Minister chooses to beg vast sums from acquaintances, donors, newspaper owners, Russians and our public funds. Ordinary citizens are forced by Tory policies to beg for food from other ordinary people whose offerings are placed on church hall tables. The kindness of strangers upon which it is now normal to depend. That sounds like Stella. Stella! The kindness of strangers. Richard says, not sure about Michael Fabricant's hair, but there were confirmed reports of a sloth escaping from London Zoo a while back. Yeah, a few fewer blisters with material. Birmingham, hello, Drew.
Nick.
Drew.
About 6 months ago, it was announced that a professor of the spin doctoring profession, Gito Harry, who I think used to work for Bodger when he was London Mayor, was going to give him a refresh and make us all love him.
Oh, yeah.
And then we never heard anything. What happened? Do you know?
Well, do you love him a little bit more than you used to before?
No.
Right. Well, it's a
dismal failure.
Well, I was going to say a work in progress.
Cheers, Nick.
Okay, thanks. 0345 6060 973. Martin says, I heard that Mad Nad, whilst following the herd, sent in a letter of no comprehension. No comprehension. Hey, is anybody having fun yet?
Yes.
A little bit. You know, or depending on what happens next. I'm sure, there's an enormous scope for it to be worse. Guildford, hello, Peter.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
Great, mate.
Initially, when we sort of heard that the Bodger was supposed to have resigned, I was cheerful. And then suddenly I felt this gloom come over me, in that I thought that we had lost Labour had lost its best recruiting sergeant.
Correct, Amundo.
But
why the Labour Party have been so insistent on getting him out of there, I do not know. The typical of the left, they find some way of screwing it up for themselves.
But there was a little bit of hope tonight. I thought. Yeah, a little bit, and that is, I heard Fishy Rishi is going to stand, but he's going to stand as the austerity Prime Minister, and he's going to tell people that we're not going to tell you fairy stories anymore.
Yeah.
We're going to tell you the hard truth.
The whole truth. Yeah, we can't handle the truth.
I hope that the Conservative, apparently his favourite, so I do urge all those Conservative members out there, please do vote for Rishi Sunak, because the thought of a billionaire telling ordinary people that they've got to tighten their belt,
yes,
will have him. He will be as unpopular as Bodger within weeks. So please do vote him in.
Right.
You know, that's my message.
Okay. Well, him or any of the others, like any of the above, apart from a couple who we're not very familiar with, like the general public, not that familiar with, so they're like clean skins, even though they do have the stench of the regime on them. They could beat it out of their suits. But there's a couple of names in there which should be of concern to those on the left, because they might pretend to shrug off everything that they have been sticking up for over the last 2 years, or the last 12 years, actually, and present themselves as a brand new party, which is what the Tories do. I've been saying this for ages. Why Starmer and the rest of them have been so keen to get Bodge out just is a mystery to me. This far out from the next general election, but as I say, they always find a way to shoot themselves in the foot. You give them a loaded gun and point them in the direction of the target, and they'll blast their own feet off. Happens every time. So, expect the Tories to get their act together, because if they want nothing more than to cling on to power, and they're very good at doing it, and they will present themselves as not affiliated to the Tory party that you are familiar with. We're a brand new party. We wash whiter than white, cleaner than clean. We're new, and we are improved, and we've got a better recipe than we ever had before. And people will think, righto, and all they'll have to say is, we will give you money. We'll lower your taxes, even though they have absolutely no intention of doing that, unless you're, a millionaire. Keep in mind that any tax cuts only benefit the rich. They don't benefit the poor, and they're just about getting by. It's a thing for the rich. Don't make me do mental arithmetic on the radio.
Oh, no.
I could work it out for you, but I would be repeating myself. 0345 6060 973, text 84850, email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's at LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10, Nick Abbott, LBC. It's just past 10:30. The news headlines with Tim Humphrey.
Former Chancellor Rishi Sunak's pitching himself as the next Prime Minister by promising to restore trust. He's the second MP to come forward to challenge for the Conservative leadership and has received at least 5 backers already. A gunman has admitted shooting dead Japan's former Prime Minister at a campaign rally in the west of the country. The Queen has offered her condolences, reflecting on the time she'd met Shinzo Abe. Record 7-time champions Germany have started the Women's European Championships with an impressive 4-0 victory over Denmark at Brentford's Community Stadium. The Danes were runners-up at the previous tournament in 2017. The weather staying dry for the south and east tonight, some drizzle lingering for northwestern areas, a low of 10.
This is LBC.
Right now, foreign travel looks even more unpredictable than ever. Whether you're dreaming of a sun-soaked just a short city break. Wherever you're going, begin your trip today with a visit to Go Compare. Travel insurance is too important to leave to the last minute. T's and C's at gocompare.com.
Hey, Harry.
Hello, mate.
What are your tips for the racing?
Funny enough, I'm just at the cafe circling my favourites. Now, your best bet is to get a pen and paper and write these down. Because running is o'clock at 3, and the trainer is going... And her name is Tomato Ketchup.
Is that actually her name?
No, me bacon Sowley's here and I just needed some ketchup. Sorry, mate, I've got to go.
Harry? Listen to Harry and make your best bet at BetVictor. 18 plus, please gamble responsibly.
Not every all-electric SUV comes with permanent all-wheel drive as standard. But then, not every all-electric SUV is a Subaru. Introducing the Subaru Solterra, our very first fully electric vehicle. All-wheel drive, instant torque, fast charging, and a range of nearly 300 miles. Book a test drive now at subaru.co.uk. Power your adventures in the Subaru Solterra. Range based on test conditions and may vary.
UK Export Finance can help your business realise its export potential. In 2020 through 21, we provided £12.3 billion of support for UK exports by providing government-backed finance and insurance. We can help you win contracts with attractive finance terms. Got orders overseas? Fulfil them with a working capital loan. Entering a challenging market? Get paid with the right insurance.
To get the exporter's edge, search UK Export Finance or call us on 0800 538 5111.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
I am not one of your fans!
John emails, I can confirm you are 100% accurate. Your notification of a heatwave is nationally inclusive. The heatwave extends to South Wales. I doubt that. Jacob says, I also love how the Tories insist on will of the people over Brexit, but they were happy to change the rules for another vote as they weren't happy with the outcome of the last one. Priceless. Yeah. Don't expect conformity. Lewisham, hello, Tara. Tara.
Hello, Mr. Nicholas. Hello.
Do you have a persistent cough?
Do I have what?
Never mind. Are you all right, Tara?
Yes, I'm completely and utterly tickly, but I'm pretty much bouncing on air at the moment, really.
Wow.
Because it's quite a fun time, although quite sticky. So I just wanted to agree with you, really. I rather like your point. I think the Tories put on a new pair of pyjamas and pretend that they're different people.
Yes. They'll still be paid for by the same people. The people on the back benches will still be the same. They'll still be going in the same direction, but they'll pretend that they're an entirely new vehicle.
Yeah, well, completely and utterly new. Yeah, we're now in something completely and utterly new. Just pretending it's all lies, damn lies and statistics, all that stuff, all that not so good stuff. And I like the cut of your jib, young man.
Right, this is you okay, is it, Tara? She's bouncing on air.
Booze.
0345 6060 973. Felix emails, the most entertaining part of the week's events was the hilarious spectacle of Boris Johnson loyalists doing their best impression of Comical Ali. My personal favourite was Peter Bone saying Johnson would lead the Tories into the next election. This was after 30 resignations from the cabinet. We should be taking notes. Don't forget all of the things that all of these people have said. Trotting out day after day to defend the indefensible bodge. The Prime Minister has made it very clear that all of those people, guilty. Fishy Sunak today accused his rivals of indulging in comforting fairy tales as he became the first major candidate to declare that he's running for the leadership of the Conservative Party on the back of a unicorn, while leaping over a rainbow. Isn't he an absolute dream? The former Chancellor released a slickly edited video outlining his pitch for Prime Minister, running under the tagline, Ready for Rishi? I mean, come on. Ready for Rishi? This country's lost its mind. In a 3-minute video, he tells the story of his background and defends his handling of the economy. I was a simple cashmere hoodie model who made a ton of money from disaster capitalism, and I met someone even richer than me, and we spent our life together happily increasing the efficiency of our financial affairs. It's a beautiful story, no?
No.
Sunak, 42, has been criticised by some wings of the Tory party for the cost of living crisis, soaring inflation, the raising the tax burden to its highest level since the 1950s. However, he sought to deflect criticism by insisting that he was the only candidate who could tackle soaring inflation and the cost of living crisis and bringing down taxes.
What?
All of the things that he's responsible for, he is the only person to fix. That's why I'm standing to be the next leader of the Conservative Party and your Prime Minister, he said. And he has the nerve to tell others that they're indulging in comforting fairy tales. What's he like? He said the decisions we make today will decide whether the next generation of British people will also have the chance of a better future. Yeah, that's right, the decisions we make today. So, thank you, Fish. You have delighted us enough.
Bye-bye.
Sunak said, I ran the toughest department in government during the toughest times when we faced the nightmare of COVID. Well, that's an interesting thought, isn't it? Because I think the most difficult department in a pandemic was probably the health department. And look who we had running that. He said, my values are non-negotiable: patriotism, fairness and hard work. Right. Can you remind us again about how your wife organises her financial affairs? I forget. Critics have called for Dominic Raab, the Deputy Prime Minister, to act as a caretaker minister in the interim.
Oh, no.
What, angular, tetchy humanoid Dominic Deckchair Raab? Is this real life or am I hallucinating? Tom Tugendhat, chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, declared his candidacy last night by throwing his Tugendhat into the ring. A close ally of Grant Shapps, or whatever he's calling himself these days, announced that the Transport Secretary is also considering a bid, as is Liz Truss, Sajid Javid, Ben Wallace, Nadeem Zahawi.
86%, 5 million, and of course, over 50%.
Yeah. Jeremy Hunt is also expected to run. I can barely say it. And so is Suella Braverman.
What?
Suella Braverman is actually considering to run to be our next Prime Minister. Wow. So Steve Baker, by the way. And Priti Patel. And to the lot of them we say...
No.
Have you got anyone else? Is there someone round the back, perhaps? How about you, Bodge? Would you be up for it? As many as 16 candidates are currently considering a bid. One member of the 1922 committee told The Times, buy your popcorn, settle into your chair and buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride. That's right. Very good, Bodge. I wonder what he's doing these days.
Booze.
Yeah, probably a lot of that, yeah. Throwing it all over the walls. 0345 6060 973. Let's have a call. Who's been waiting the longest? To be totally fair about this, a Doncaster, Martin.
Hi, Nick. Yeah, you just asked whether we cheered up yet. How can you cheer up with the Conservatives still in charge? Boris Johnson has just made Peter Bone Deputy Leader of the House of Commons. It's laughable. And then you've got Michelle Donnelly, the old Education Secretary in charge for 30 hours. She's going to get a 17 grand payoff. Yeah, I mean, and you're supposed to cheer up. Yeah, I mean, people, these have been in charge for 12 years. People seem to forget, yeah, I mean, and I just don't understand this country.
Well, Martin,
yeah, I mean,
if we hadn't had to suffer through the last 12 years of a Labour government under the disastrous premiership of Jeremy Corbyn, we wouldn't be in this mess now.
No, I agree with you, Nick. If Corbyn had, I support Labour, but if Corbyn had been in charge, I wouldn't have voted. I voted for him in 2019. If it had been, yeah, I mean, he ruined the Labour Party, and I just wish we had opposition. Yeah, I mean, and I'll keep on speaking up about this government and ringing you because I think you do a fantastic job, mate.
What, like
yeah,
science fiction?
No, you do a cracking job, mate.
All right.
I
appreciate it, Martin. Thanks very much. 0345 6060 973. To be absolutely clear, we have not just suffered through 12 years of a Labour government under the disastrous premiership of Jeremy Corbyn. That was somebody else that we've just suffered through. But they're going to present themselves as a brand new party, totally unaffiliated with the old Conservatives. This is new conservatism. Still paid for by the same, 6 people. Still funded by the same people, still going in the same direction, but they'll pretend that they aren't. They'll change the colour of the bus. I bet they have a new logo. What's the new logo going to be? I don't know. Like a hummingbird or a fairy. A rainbow. Oh, no, that's taken. Too woke for even the new Conservatives. A rainbow. It'll be, I don't know, like an image that people really like. How about the cover of Dark Side of the Moon?
Rock and roll!
They'll just nick it. Tom texts, Brexiteer Rishi for PM so we can make a success of Brexit and annoy Remainers like you. Interesting that all you Brexiteers, you don't really want to mention the B word anymore, do you? If it had been a success by any measure, we wouldn't be able to get you to shut up about it. But now you want us to all move on and just suck it up. Just pretend it's not happening to us. Or that Brexit is a failure because Ramonas didn't believe in it. that comes up a bit. You people are out of your minds. Brexit's a failure for the very reasons that Ramonas were telling you it was going to be a failure for about 5 years before you went ahead and voted for it anyway. We're the only country ever to make it more difficult to trade with our biggest trading partners. What kind of a stupid country would vote for that? 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Hey, you remember when we all we had to worry about was a massive, virulent disease that was sweeping the planet? That was a couple of years ago. And that period is the one that I'm going through now for my best of podcast, which is called the Nick Abbot Habit. I, with my own sticky fingers, go through old shows and pluck out the funny bits and squash them together and stick them up the internet as a podcast. It's called Nick Abbot Habit. It's on Global Player, like all of the other podcasts that we do. Global Player for Apple and Android. Get it at your favourite app store. If you do an internet search on my name, Nick Abbott Podcasts, all 3 that I do will come up as though by magic. But the one I'm talking about, ask for it by name on an internet need.
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbott.
Would you mind telling me what this is all about?
Yeah, it's about one party flailing around, trying to maintain their grip on power, seeing it slipping through their fingers. Alice texts, Steve Baker isn't running. He's already pulled out to support Suella. You're joking.
Are you trying to be funny? Because I'm all out of laughs.
Yeah, I mean, you can only laugh about that so often. To support Suella Braverman. Suella Braverman PM. I mean, it's kind of fun, really, just, watching them all throttling each other. I suppose. I mean, if it wasn't actually happening to us, it would be funnier. Because there's an actual country that needs running while all of that is going on. And they won't be paying a blind bit of attention to it until it all gets settled. Jeff, or afterwards, probably. Jeff says, just wondering, when Bodger resigned, Theresa May went and had a dance. If you had to choose between another 5 years of Bodge or 5 minutes of watching Theresa May dance, what would you choose? I did actually see a video of her doing something, I don't know quite what it was. She must have been on tour in, I don't know where, somewhere abroad where the plumbing doesn't look good. And she was surrounded by locals, and she did the most extraordinary thing. It was like she was trying to poke their eyes out with her elbows. But I imagine that's what dancing is to her. It looked like a chicken getting an electric shock. And so, if I have to watch 5 minutes of that, I might actually lose the will to live. So that would be... I can't choose between the two, Jeff. It's too difficult a choice. Don't make me do it. Tottenham. Hello, Tom.
Hello.
Tom.
Hi. Do you hear the speech yesterday, or was it the day before? Johnson's nonsense. Did you notice that he didn't
Johnson's not resigning speech?
It's still there. Is my phone just giving up the ghost?
Your phone is giving
up.
Are
you there?
No, well, it's a very bad line there, Tom. You want to get yourself a new phone, or a landline would be better. Anybody use a landline lately?
No,
not at all. Better luck next time. 0345 6060 973. Luton, Austin.
Hi, Nick.
Austin.
How about Theresa and Boris doing a tango?
No, it's a no from me.
No, what I found out, hypocrisy. They wanted to get Boris out so that the 1922 committee are changing the rules, and Boris tried to change the rules for that MP.
Yeah.
Was it Neil something or other?
Something.
Can't remember now.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's going on there then?
Well, how do you read it?
Useless.
The rules don't apply to them. People like Boris Johnson have gone through life having never felt that the rules apply to him. We know that this is true because of that famous letter that his housemaster wrote to his dad, saying precisely that. Boris Johnson conducts himself as though the rules do not apply to him, and then is famously upset, aggrieved, when he doesn't get the top job as head boy of the school, having just burnt half of it down. I mean, I made that last part up, but, you know. So we know who he is. It's, this should not be a surprise. I mean, the amount of times I've heard people say, we knew what we were voting for. Well, if you did, then you need your entire being examined. If you voted for that, what did you want to do that for? Richard emails, I think Johnson should steer clear of becoming a caretaker. In Scooby-Doo, it's always the creepy caretaker who turns out to be the monster. He would have gotten away with it if it hadn't been for that pesky kids. Let's have Helen in Nottingham. Helen.
Hi, Nick. Are you well?
Yes, very well, thanks.
Thanks. I was just ringing in about the whole nonsense shuffle, whatever's going on. But Rishi Sunak has started a campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen it. I think it's hashtag Rishi for... I don't know what it is. It's
Are
nonsense.
you ready for Rishi?
Ah, that's it. And within that, he's put... let's build a better economy.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, hang on a minute.
He's going to try and fix. He's going to try and fix the mess that the last moron who was Chancellor has left him. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's basically said we will build the economy. Well, wasn't that the job of the last Chancellor?
Yeah, whoever that was. Yeah. Well,
I don't know who he was.
We'll
I
never
don't know,
know.
Nick.
No.
This is just ludicrous, Nick. The whole thing.
It's comical that they think that we are stupid enough to buy any of this. But
I think that's the issue. I think the issue is that the rhetoric is that people are so dumb, and that upsets me because the country isn't dumb.
I'm afraid it is, Helen, because it's the country that got us to this place. It's people's vote that has given us this situation.
Yeah, I did wake up the morning when it was announced that Brexit was going ahead and just looked in just sort of a credulous state at my husband with No way. There's no way that's just happened.
It's your husband's fault.
Well, it is, but we just looked at each other completely credulous that people can listen to this absolute nonsense.
Yeah, incredulous, not credulous, incredulous. You were incredulous.
But fair play. Rishi's going to save the economy. Fair play to him. Obviously, the Chancellor was doing a really bad job. Oh, yeah, sorry, Rishi, that was you. That you have to now save the economy. What an absolute load of nonsense. And he's even set up, I'm guessing from one of his Californian friends, a website.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, it's embarrassing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's also very embarrassing. Yeah, my toes are curling just thinking about it.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. So, yeah, that's where I was coming in tonight with just, oh, my goodness, what on earth?
Yeah. You can just end that sentence. You can end that sentence right there, Helen. What on earth? That should be the question from now until the end of time. All right, thanks a lot. Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973. On the other side of that argument, of course, Rishi Sunak does look an absolute dream in a cashmere hoodie. Natalie emails, in all the political chaos unfolding, we should spare a thought for the Daily Mail. Spare a thought for the Daily Mail and their readers. Let's just check in with the Daily Mail and their readers. They're not happy. She says, not only has their idol Boris been brought down by the forces of wokeness and rampant Tory self-interest, the Beergate smear campaign against the Labour leader has failed, and Hazza has won the first stage of his libel lawsuit against the Mail on Sunday. The thought I can spare would not be broadcastable, and I can't express it anyway, as I'm laughing too much. I know. Yeah, they're very, 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 very angry. Not just a little bit, a lot. Not going for them as it was before. Scott says, hey, Nick, is it me, or every time I see Dominic Deckchair Robb being interviewed on TV, he looks as if he's going to spontaneously ignite or explode? Angular, tetchy humanoid Dominic Deckchair Robb, you mean?
Affirmative.
Yeah. He looks like a nice person, no?
No.
0345 6060 973. Let's see if I can... Well, would it be fair to squeeze someone in before the news? Because there's only a couple of minutes. And I want to be fair. This show is nothing if not totally fair. So maybe I'll just read some of these texts and emails. Nathan says, I contacted my MP about the possibility of a snap election and the readiness of voter ID. She replied about the Energy Charter Treaty. I think she got me muddled up with someone else. No, Nathan, that is perfectly normal. You ask them a question about one thing, and they will give you the answer that they learned to a different question just moments ago. Why would you ask her about the readiness of voter ID? Why would you be concerned about that? Voter ID is fixing a problem that doesn't exist. Voter ID is something that the Tories, and another wizard idea that the Tories got from you-know-who.
I can be more presidential than anybody.
It's the Republican Party's little wheeze voter ID. Is because it eliminates a significant number of people who would not vote for the Republican Party. Ditto here. And people who ask for such a thing, if they are not Conservative supporters, well...
I love the poorly educated.
It's that's the demographic. Al says, I think Labour is still right to demand that Johnson leaves. It's in the national interest for this because Johnson is a risk to national security, especially now. The only Tory I have some respect for is Tobias Ellwood because of his stances on Ukraine and Europe, says Al. A danger to national security. Bodger Johnson, yeah. What happened when you went to Lebedev's place in Italy, by the way, Bodge? Can you let us into what it was that happened there? Because you looked like a right mess when you came out. Were you having a party? Anything to say at all?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
From Global's newsroom at 11 o'clock, Rishi Sunak has confirmed he's standing to be the next Conservative leader and Prime Minister. He resigned as Chancellor on Tuesday, sparking a wave of government resignations, which eventually led to Boris Johnson announcing he'd stand down. Mr Sunak already has 5 of the 8 required backers to get onto the ballot paper. He set out his credentials in a campaign video.
I want to lead this country in the right direction. I ran the toughest department in government during the toughest times when we faced the nightmare of COVID. My values are non-negotiable. Patriotism, fairness, hard work. We've had enough of division.
The other declared candidate is Select Committee Chairman Tom Tugendhat. US President Joe Biden has signed an executive order to protect access to abortion as he faced pressure from fellow Democrats to be more forceful on the subject after the Supreme Court ended a constitutional right to the procedure 2 weeks ago. The actions outlined are intended to mitigate some potential penalties women seeking abortion may face after the ruling. A 22-year-old man's been jailed for at least 37 years for the murder of a police community support officer in Kent last year. Junior James was attacked by Callum Wheeler while walking her dog in Snowdown. The former head of Scotland Yard's counter-terror unit has been named its new commissioner. Sir Mark Rowley will replace Dame Cressida Dick, who resigned in February after a series of scandals at the Metropolitan Police. He retired from the force in 2018. Graham Whetone served with the Met Police for 30 years. He told LBC Sir Mark has to look at moving to more local policing than the present model if he's going to get to grips with the problems.
The Met is split into 13 different areas. That's a huge area for one senior officer to manage. That's why frontline supervision has been impacted and why possibly we've seen some of these poor behaviour in recent years, because if the effective supervision isn't there.
Elon Musk says he's terminating his £36.5 billion deal for Twitter. Tesla's chief executive claims there's been material breach of multiple provisions of the agreement. He also says the company failed to provide data and information that he'd requested. The weather staying dry for the south and east tonight. Some drizzle lingering for northwestern areas, lows of 10. Dry and sunny for England, Wales and southeast Scotland tomorrow. Cloudier but staying dry for northern Scotland and Northern Ireland, with the odd shower in the far north, and a high of 24 degrees.
And I think Sunakism is that's quite good.
It does end in a consonant. You can't have Rishiism because that's just a bit weird.
Yes.
That's two I's next to each other, which is awful.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't and some of those real loons like Mog and Bone, although they're not standing, obviously that just sounds too weird. And I can't even pronounce that Tom
Tugendhat. Tugendhatism. Yeah, that's just awful. Yeah, Tugendhatism just doesn't work at all.
And you couldn't put an ism on it, So I think under that sort of criteria, I think Sunak's got it, really.
Dories-ism? That doesn't work either.
Doesn't work. And of course, Suella is always going to become Cruella when the whole when she kicks in with the kind of nasty Tory stuff.
When she kicks in with it.
Yeah, exactly. And I just can't see any other ism format working. So, you know what? Sunak has got my vote.
Right.
For that reason.
He wins. All right, good work there. Thanks a lot, Richard. 0.3% of the population is going to decide who our next Prime Minister is. Can you believe that?
No.
0.3%. It's like democracy, but not quite. 200,000 people are available to decide who our next PM is going to be. They're not going to necessarily all vote, so it might be less than 0.3%. God, what a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
Mark texts, I have two questions. Is the Bodge now actually technically squatting in Westminster? And secondly, is it a possibility that a less right-wing leader could lead us down a path more EU-friendly? Well, yeah. But I suspect that we're not going to get a less right-wing new leader. I suspect we're going to get a more right-wing new leader.
Oh, no.
It's not going to be a different change. It's not going to be a change of direction. We're still going to the same destination. We just might be taking a more scenic route. That's all. They painted the bus a different colour. They've changed the fabric on the seats. They presented themselves as a brand new company, but it's still the same company. It's still the same company, and we're still going to the same place, and we're still being paid for by the same people. It ain't going to change direction now. 0345. But they will change the driver. They'll change the driver and the uniform to make it look like an entirely new operation. Unconnected with the previous bus service, which you didn't like. Beverly, Mike.
Hi, Nick, how are you?
Great, mate.
Good. Yeah, you pinched a bit of my Sunak stuff earlier on, which was, you did it better than I would have done. But as a generalisation, you've got Smug does patrician droll brilliantly. But Sunak's 3-minute video was so patronising. And the way he modulated his voice up and down, I do this and I do that, and it's absolutely patronising.
What was he wearing? I haven't actually seen it. What was he wearing?
I've only heard it on radio. I haven't seen it. LBC played it out earlier on.
Oh, right.
So I've not seen him, so he could have been in the hoodie or not. But the tone of it was so... I've done this, but I came from that, and the implication was that if you want to make on, do like I did.
Yes.
I'm a great guy, and I can sort it all out for you, although I've put you where you are now.
Right.
And, it was patronising. It's awful.
People that make it massive always declare that they did it because of their own hard work and their innate genius, whereas actually almost all of life is luck. They made it through luck. Because you didn't make it through luck, then it is somehow your fault for not working hard enough, for not being smart enough like they are, and they did.
Yeah, this is true, but you can't doubt his intelligence. Do you know when he registered his campaign website?
Was it 2 weeks ago?
No. It was a few days after the video came out of what you may call it, spokesman, when she did that video and laughing about the party.
Wow.
He registered that campaign website in December, a few days after Partygate bust.
Wow.
But he hasn't done anything about it. He sat there...
Just left it lie, like an unexploded bomb.
Because he knew it was going to happen. He knew Johnson was finished, but he's still sat there since December, not utilising it or getting the cabinet to take him down. He's just sat there. So he's not stupid. He knew in December it was all over. Just sat there and waited, Nick.
Wow, that's pretty... That's like next level... because he presents himself as a cute little puppy dog. Oh, he's all soft corners and, with his hoodies and his soft clothes. But that's not who he is at all, like, any more than Boris is your bumbling best mate.
No, and if you want to check that out, it was Pippa Creer of is it The Mirror or The Guardian? I can't remember now. It was on her tweets and her website. She dug out when he'd actually registered that campaign website.
Right.
So it's provable. But the other point I want to come to, you keep saying about Formula One is round and round and round.
Round and round they go, and nothing ever happens.
Boring. I listened to 2 hours of Johnson in front of the Select Committee the other afternoon, Wednesday afternoon. And they were questioning about Lebedev.
Oh,
did he report it to the Foreign Office?
Right.
Well, I seem to recall that I possibly did. And did you report it? Did you report it to the Secret Service? Oh, well, I seem to recall that possibly round and round and round. He doesn't understand two little words, yes and no, in spite of the indication. And then they went on.
Oh, he understands all right.
Will you rule out calling a snap election so that you don't embarrass the Queen?
Yeah.
Well, there's a possibility that if Parliament didn't agree to support the Ukraine...
this is how he gets away with it. He just fills the air with noise signifying nothing, and then his time is up and he can waddle away.
Round and round and round. And
And it drives you mad. It drives his interlocutor up the wall, and they can't think straight anymore, and he just batters them with noise.
Yeah, I quite agree.
I think you missed out a word there when you said select committee. I think by law you're supposed to say powerful select committee or influential select committee, and they are, of course, neither of those two things.
No, but you've had loads of people ringing on LBC saying, why were they battering him? Why were they bullying him on Wednesday? They weren't. They simply kept asking the
same question and getting answer. Yeah.
That isn't bullying. That's simply asking someone. If he was in court, not in front of the select committee, the judge would have something to deal with it.
Guilty. All right, thanks a lot, Mike. 0345 6060 973. Simon says, well, that's Sunak out of the running. If you can't produce a slick video like that in 24 hours, surely he's been planning this for a while, which fits in with that last conversation. I haven't seen it. I must see it. Because things are happening, they're changing so quickly that you take your eye off the pewter for just a couple of minutes and the news has changed. Like that story that started today about him having this, he was going to have a wedding party for his current wife before, he has to get that in before he divorces her for another model. You must get your wedding party in before your divorce. That is the way it's supposed to go. And so they started with that, the unshocking revelation that he was going to use checkers for his own ends, and then they changed their mind toot sweet after we found out about it. Suspicious? You betcha. Lucy says, after Bojo goes, will there still be a Minister for Brexit Opportunities? Yeah, almost certainly not. I mean, it will be interesting, kind of entertaining, amusing to watch them troop in to number 10 and then troop out again, looking crestfallen as their job has been taken from them. Never to get a better one. You know what? Let's not feel sorry for them. They'll all have more time to spend with their money. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's at LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
One. This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Hi, honey. How are you?
I'm super. Thanks for asking. Right, here's that story about Fishy. Fishy by name, fishy by nature. Mystery surrounding when Fishy Sunak registered leadership bid website, screams the Super Soaraway Indie. On Friday, former Chancellor Fishy Sunak announced his bid for leadership just one day after PM Bodge announced his intent to resign. Did you actually say the word resign, Bodge? No. Launching the domain Ready for Rishi with the number 4, not FOR, because putting the number 4 makes him down with the kids. Readyforrishi.com. Sunak, 42, has begun a campaign to be the next Conservative leader. He says, we need to restore trust in our politics. We need to rebuild our economy. Why? Because of the last idiot who was the Chancellor, you mean? What was his name again? He says, we need to reunite the country. This is the tagline on Sunak's website. Sunak resigned from his position as Chancellor on Tuesday alongside Health Secretary Sajid Javid, sparking a train of resignations from Johnson's government. It's a train, Bodge. While Sunak and Javid's resignations were unexpected, some Twitter users are speculating that Sunak planned on running for a leadership position because the domain readyforrishi.com, FOR, which redirects to readyforrishi.com, the number 4, was registered in December 2021.
What?
Wow. I am stunned. He's been planning this since then. And he talks about we need to bring back trust. Funny, no?
No.
Mirror reporter Mikey Smith tweeted that a member of Sunak's team clarified that the domain for Sunak's site, Ready for Rishi number 4, is his Sunak's site is the Ready for Rishi with the number 4 in it, but did not clarify if they'd also bought Ready for Rishi, FOR. But if you click on one, it directs you to the other. Wow. Well, that's you out. It was nice knowing you for the long period which your campaign lasted.
Bye-bye.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Next. Maidstone. Hello, Joan.
Hello.
Hang on a minute. Not that.
Okey-dokey.
Wait. Try that again. There you are. Hello, Joan.
Hello there. I'd like to raise a couple of very interesting points.
Couple of 3 points.
2. First of all, he's had the removal van turn up once before when he was in the Foreign Office.
Yep.
And he squatted in that building for several days.
Okay.
So he's quite used to doing that.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Taking advantage of other people's good nature, yes. That's him up and down.
Yeah, and the second point is that remember Gordon Brown, how he walked down Downing Street with his family there, and he looked dignified.
It was like you hear the old prime ministers speak, and it's like it's from a different era. I mean, it's not that long ago that Gordon Brown was our leader.
Yeah, and he was. You know, I think a lot of people are very, very moved by it. He just walked down there, head held high.
Yeah. And ever since, he's been, as far as we're aware, he's been doing good things, not strutting about on the lecture circuit as much as certain individuals that were close to him at some point. He hasn't been desperate to make money. He's been
doing good work.
Yeah, relatively quiet. Yeah. It's like it's not like it was 10 years ago, or you hear Major speak, and it's not like it was 20 or 30 years ago. It's like those people come from 100 years ago. That's how much it's changed.
Yeah, it was so moving, and I really, really wish we could get back to that way of thinking instead of this. You know, I won't call him a man. I'll just call him a thing.
A thing, yeah. All right, thanks a lot, Joan.
Okay,
bye. 0345 6060 973. Here's what I predict, that the Conservative Party, the next leader, will be none of the joke candidates. It's going to be somebody really dry and really boring and really serious. Not Fishy Sunak, not the people that you're thinking of. It's going to be one of the military types. I'm thinking of like 2 people. I don't think it's going to be... I'd be surprised if they picked a woman. I don't know why. I just can't see it. Not after Bodge. It's going to have to be somebody who's like really serious, seems like they're in the military, stand up straight, and none of this mucking about. It'll be Tugendhat, won't it? And then the Labour Party will rue their decision to try to eject Bodge from number 10. If they just let him sit there and stew in his own filth, then they would have had a better chance of winning next time around. But I bet that the left of centre parties will engineer their own failure again. 0345 6060 973. Edinburgh, Marion.
Oh, hi.
Marion.
Am I on? Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Hi. Oh, right. Christ almighty, what the hell craziness have we been plunged into here? I was going to address your earlier comment about how we get out of this, but you just touched on it there. They're going to have to get like a Tom Tugendhat or a Ben Wallace or something. Suella Braverman, what the hell is that about?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm just waiting for Nadine Dorris or somebody to chuck their hat in.
I hope so. I hope that there's a lot of them, and that they fight to the very last.
To the death. But I tell you what, I haven't seen. I'm assuming there's a video that goes along with that Sunak thing. I've just heard on the radio.
Yeah.
In the background, sounds really sickening.
Yeah, I've just seen a picture of him, presumably a clip from the video, and he's in a darkened. It looks like it's professionally lit. He's in a dark studio, so he's just emerging from the gloom in a dark suit, white shirt, no tie. So
no hoodie.
No hoodie, but no tie to make him appear more approachable.
Ah, well, perhaps I'm missing the essence of it because I'm just listening to the audio, but it made me feel it was a bit creepy.
A little bit creepy, yeah.
Yeah, a bit creepy. And Boris Johnson, he won't go. He's not going. He's not going.
He doesn't think that he should go because he has led his life up to this point thinking that he has been born to lead. That's the essence of these people. I don't know whether they are like that when they go to that school or whether it's that school that makes them like that when they come out. But there's a certain mindset of people that have been there that they think that they are born to lead, that they are superior in some way to us mere mortals, and that we should not question them, we should not get in their way, we should not be in their presence, really.
I understand you, but I think there is a very specific example, possibly for scientific exploration, in that particular man.
Yes.
And maybe Mog, there's something just wrong with him as well. But
yeah, okay. Thanks, Marion. Something wrong with you, Mog?
I don't know anything.
No, he doesn't know anything. So there's that. I don't think that it's
a major capital letters, big news story.
That there's something wrong with all of them. 0345 6060 973. Louise texts, just watching Paul McCartney at Glastonbury on your recommendation. He's singing something with pictures of George Harrison behind him. I'm bawling my eyes out. I've got newfound respect for the Beatles now, something British that we can be truly proud of. You bet they are. But we could also be proud of, Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, the Rolling Stones and The Who. Well, some of The Who. Paul says, the first thing a new PM should do is reward Boris Johnson for his service to the party and the country by making him permanent governor of St Helena. A non-negotiable position, and the van's just outside with burly men to carry your already packed luggage. He's going to be sitting in the House of Lords before you know it. Do you think he's going anywhere else? Of course not. It will be Lord Johnson. Pah! What a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
Let's have Tunbridge. Stephen.
So, Nick, how are you doing?
Good, thanks.
I think with regards to Rishi, we haven't considered the Irish.
Stephen, there's something wrong with your phone. It's cutting off the first word of every sentence, bizarrely. Yeah, just like
Rishi,
that.
Irish.
Yeah, no, it's impossible. Get yourself a new phone, Stephen, or a new phone provider, or maybe they just doesn't work in Kent. Do they have mobile phone masts in Kent? Somebody should check on that. Better luck next time, Stephen. Try a landline. No one uses a landline anymore. Oh, yeah, what's a landline, Grandad? Grandad? Why, you little... Exeter. Hello, John.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
Good, thanks.
My God, there's been so much material over the last few days from these politicians.
Mm-hmm.
We used to have to watch or listen to comedy, but, you know...
Not necessary.
Now it's no longer necessary, exactly. But the other thing is you've gone on and on about, you know, Boris Johnson. He's left. Get over it.
He hasn't left. He's still there. And I can't get over it.
I can't get over it either. But how are they going to replace him? I'm thinking it's either going to be Rishi or it's going to be one half of the Crankies. I'm not sure which half. Maybe the older one.
I don't know. Let's give Goofy a chance. I mean, it couldn't be worse, could it?
And I had a whole list of things that I was going to talk about earlier, and somebody stole my thunder by talking when they texted you about what was it? Scooby-Doo, because this is my great reveal. I was going to ring up and say that the speech yesterday was like Scooby-Doo, where he says, and I would have got away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
Yeah, exactly.